Hello, everyone. I am super excited. It feels like it's been a while since I've done a live class, but I am really excited about today. And I don't know why I haven't done a class on this before. I know a couple years ago, Anna and I did one with QR codes, and part of that was how she uses the QR code and Google Forms to create that map for referrals. I had an echo there. I was like, where is that coming from? I forgot I had the YouTube up so I could see people's names. Anyway, so I remember Anna she used Google Forms to create that referral map and used the QR code to go there to fill it out. And then it went on to her Google Map. So if you are interested in that video, I think it has been like the #1 video watched of all the classes we've done. And I know it should be in the guide section of the creative group and the tech and tools group, and it's on my YouTube. But I mean, it was a few years ago, but it's still, I think that was the last time we did a class that had anything to do with Google Forms, and I use Google Forms all the time. So let me know where you're coming in. Thank you, Bill, for always watching. Love it. We've got, let's see, Dora, I hate that we can't stream inside of our Facebook groups anymore. I know I do have it streaming to my business page. At least then we can get, our actual photos and stuff like that. Thank you for watching from Texas. And I am curious, have any of you, I would love to know if you're using Google Forms and what you may be using it for. I'm going to share my screen in just a second. I'm going to show you some examples of how I'm using it. And also when we go to create a form, we can go into the examples and create. I personally have always done it from scratch. And I only just today saw that they had all these different examples, which I thought was pretty cool because they are a lot of ones that I actually use for. So let me know if you actually are using any Google Forms and what you're using them for to give us some ideas. Let's see here. Awesome. Hey, Sherry. How's the weather down there? Is it hot and muggy? I know it's hot and muggy here in Tennessee. It's lots of rain, but that means we have water actually flowing in the waterfalls, which is a good thing because we've been so dry, but the flash floods get a little crazy. Hey there, Kim. It's nice to know that I can at least see the names. Oh, I did Microsoft for everything. And I think this was before like Office 365 online. And I remember losing my computer and I'm crazy when it comes to organizing my emails, and I lost everything. And I was like, nope, going over to Google. And now I have the workspace, and that's worked for me. But a lot of people just, even if you have a Gmail, because Google Forms is free and there's so many awesome tools, the spreadsheets and everything else. I use Google, all of their stuff in Drive all the time. It is pretty easy. Yeah, hot. I bet. I'll be down, I guess I can say next month. I'm excited. Hopefully no hurricanes hit, but I'll be down there for the gala and for Jared James. I'm excited for that. Brand new to Google Forms. Wow, I use it for so much stuff. This is going to be a game changer. Thank you all. Hey, Amanda, for watching. Let me move this thing. Let's see. Oh, for more personal. Yeah, I mean, I use it for business, for my office, for, agents can do events. There's so many awesome things. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen so we can get started on all these tools. I may not always, because I have the 2 monitors and I don't always see the comments, but definitely feel free, comment and let me know if you have any questions, and I'll make sure to skim over there every couple minutes as we go through what we're going through today to be able to answer any of your questions. And let's go ahead and get started. So first things, if you have Gmail, doesn't cost anything. A lot of our agents may use their own domain or something like that. I know sometimes our fax machine where it's, it emails the PDF it likes Gmail. So sometimes if they have AOL especially, or Hotmail or Yahoo, those emails they're not friendly with everything. So like just do a Gmail and we'll have it forward to whatever email you use. That way we can get everything over to you without any problem. Same thing with the Remix forwarding. I know it doesn't like the AOL. Yahoo, Hotmail. I know those are at least 3, BombBomb, stuff like that. They just don't communicate well with others. So they're not very friendly. So Gmail is great for something like that. It's free and there's a lot of awesome things that we can do. So when you're inside of your Gmail, over on the top right, you'll see all these little buttons. And this is going to have a whole bunch of different tools. And today we're just going to be I'm going to go into a form. So usually I just go straight into Drive and then I'll create something. So I already have that here. What we're going to do is we're going to click New. And this is where all the different tools you could have. I'm going to go to Google Form because we're going to create a new form. Oh, let me go back so I can show you. Let's do that. New Google Form. And they have where you can do a form, a quiz, or from a template. And I hadn't seen this before. So I just wanted to show you. They have kind of pre-done templates that you can start with that may give you ideas and stuff like that for what you may want to use it for. And I thought that was pretty cool. So like events and stuff like that, those are all great. RSVP, I think a lot of our agents, like for their pie events or any other events that they're doing for like client appreciation parties, stuff like that, they'll use the event. The great thing is it puts everything on a spreadsheet. And then you can do that year after year after year. And I'll show you how. So you can have one spreadsheet. And then when you create the upcoming year's one, you can add it to the same spreadsheet, but it'll be a new tab. So it could be, 2024. And then next year you'll have a tab for 2025, which keeps everything on one spreadsheet, making it nice and easy. So you can see who came this year, all of those fun ideas. So lots of cool things. I will also say, I use this a lot for our office. So for example, here is like, as part of our onboarding, we have agents fill out a lead. Like what we have many sources of different leads that they can get, whether it be, the office website, if they don't want them, except for it's their listing, or they want certain areas. You have, the phone calls that come into the office, all of those. We have a bunch of different referral companies that we work with. So we want our agents to be able to get the leads they want. And that way it's not one master list, but it's several different lead sources and it's all round robin and they have access to the master spreadsheet. That way they can always see like which rotation am I closest to getting a lead from next. So what we do is we have this, we have like an agent hub as well as it's in their email welcoming them to the office. So they basically just fill out the form. And they can fill it out over and over. And what we do when we get those emails is we update the lead sheets on who wants to get what. So it really helps us know who wants what, if they want to eliminate areas or they don't want the higher reload companies and stuff like that. So they can let us know what kind of leads they do want, what they don't want. Some may require, a meeting to understand, what that program is, all that kind of fun stuff. So that's one. Then we have, this is like we did a questionnaire. So it was kind of, do you want to do Zoom meetings? When do you want to do them? All those kind of fun, different things. What training classes do you want? We used to send out an annual survey via, what was that? Some monkey thing or something like that. And it was great. But then they don't really have a free version anymore. You can't really do much. So we took it over to Google Forms, which is just fine because it's free. But it is something that we like to be able to send out every year. Like, what can we do better? It's always about the agents and how can we improve to give them exactly what they want. So there's a lot of different ideas on the office level, which is probably what I use it a lot for. But I also, on all my website orders, they were all Google Form. And they all went into one spreadsheet. So whenever I would say, when it goes into a queue, it takes X amount of days. And that's what I mean, because I immediately get an email and it goes onto a spreadsheet. So everything's right there for me. So just some different ideas on what you can do. This is like a RSVP. This is an old one. It's the old branding here. But it could just be what do you want? Like this one, it had different dinners and stuff like that. So you can do that. So it comes right into you and it's nice because they're on a spreadsheet. Let's see here. Classes. So this is one that I'm working on now to be able to send to you guys for the groups on just different topics. So I'm going to go ahead and start from scratch. And we went over to Google Drive. I know I'm going fast here. I'm trying to check any comments here. So we went over to Google Forms. We saw this. We're going to start from scratch, but feel free to play in here, all that. So here is a generic form. You have I'm going to give it a title. So let's go in here, test form. And you'll see once I click over here, when you add that title, if I click over to the title up here, it will change to whatever mine is. What is this form description? Now is when you get to ask the different questions. And you can see, you can add images, videos, you can add all, like really get in depth with the form. But we're going to keep it simple so you can go play. And here's where I want to go ask my first question. And you can see here, there's a drop down, or you can add a photo too, to add some visuals to it. So here's where you can have multiple choice. That's going to allow them to pick one of those answers. When it comes to like a topic of what kind of classes do you want, I have multiple, and I will use the checkbox. That way they can check whichever ones apply. And that's important to be able to know that. The other thing is, do you want this to be required or not? So if I like, yes, you have to answer this, then it's required. They won't be able to submit the form until they go back and answer all of the required responses. So I can say test question, and then we will, well, maybe my keyboard, there we go. And I can have option 1, I can add option 2, option 3, but maybe I want them to be able to type in something I may have missed. You know, a class idea, I always love doing this because give me other ideas. So here's where we're going and do this. And this is checkboxes, which means they can choose multiple, whatever applies. And I want it required. Now what I do is I personally, you can go in and add another question. I always just duplicate. Now I have the same exact, it's going to have the required checkboxes and the same question, which I then go in and edit. So I'm going to come over here to, let's see, I have classes and more, just so we can see these. So you can see what I did for here. So I added the title, and sometimes I can't even think of what I want to do. So I actually took my idea, like, okay, well, I want to do a survey for this, but I just can't even think of what I want to ask. So I had kind of come up with just the standard, what we see people answer and ask about, just kind of little things. And I do try to make it fun. We found if we add humor, especially when sending out to our agents and stuff, if we add humor to these questions, they're kind of giggling as they're answering these questions away. So I have found, I will say, instead of keeping it extremely professional, we add a little fun to it, because we find we get more responses, I guess, if we do that. So that's just a little tip. So here I just kind of came up with some things, but this is where it can get fun, because when I've done all my past surveys, we did not have ChatGPT, or I did not know about it. So I actually went over to ChatGPT, and if I scroll all the way up, let's see where I was. So some ideas for upcoming classes for real estate marketing and tech group. Like, I just want to write a survey. So it gives me all these, and I was like, these are for Remax groups. Let's put Remax and put a play on those words. So it gave me all these different ideas, and I just kept the max, and it's like, oh, okay, those are perfect. And I do like to thank ChatGPT, because it is like the best assistant ever, and it just feels weird if I don't. So I'm like, perfect. What are some questions I can add on this survey? So it gives me all these different topics. So here's like all this stuff. I didn't have to do anything. Like, okay, here's what I'm doing. Give me the ideas. And that's great. So it's very kind of more formal, all the ideas. So here's all these different questions. You can see it's pretty cool. It's like, dang, gosh, it's awesome. So I was like, okay, well, this is perfect. Rewrite and add more excitement to make fun for the best engagement. So here it rewrote. And then it definitely adds a little more humor. And I love like the days of the week were pretty funny. Like, whoa, cool. Like what topics, And I think this is way more fun. This is more of what I would add for a survey to make it more fun. So here's different things. So I love these. I'm going to have to remember these. Fabulous Friday, like social Saturday. No, we're not doing classes on Saturday and Sunday. I'm playing in the mountains. And I'm sure hopefully you guys are out there busy too. So here's like morning hustle, afternoon boost, evening chill. So these are pretty good. So stay tuned because I will be doing this. So that's all. I will rechange and add in, copy paste what I've done on this form. So we're coming back over here to the test form and we get done writing all of our questions and it's purple. Like my sister loves purple. I'm not a purple fan, but I want to be able to come up here. We're going to click customize theme because I need to make this more unique and everything else. So I can change the fonts, but I can also change the header. So there's some sort of a graphic on the top there. Here's where I can choose the header. Now I can upload my own. It'll go to my Google Photos, or you can come over here and they have a bunch. They're just simple graphics. There's no text on them or anything like that. I personally like to brand everything and have everything kind of done. So I always upload and I'm going to upload. Let's see. Let's go over to downloads. Here we go. So this, I do it straight inside of Canva. And this is telling you what size the Google form header is. So you'll notice because I uploaded my own photo, my colors just changed automatically to match what I just uploaded. So you can see here underneath the header, it has all these different colors. So you can pick your own. If you have that Canva wheel or anything like that, put in that number there. But it is nice that it's picking colors from your photo. So it's one less thing you have to worry about. It's like, okay, I like that, or just keep clicking through and go through all the different, ones that you like. Same thing with the background. So it has like this grayish, maybe I want it darker. I could do that. I can make it lighter, or I could make it white, whatever I wanted to do with it. So there's all sorts of great ideas, and that's going to help you have the theme. This is if you don't do sheets and you want to see the responses. So you get done, you can preview it. That'll at least let you see what it's going to look like. Then we have to decide to send it. So how are we going to get it to people? You could email it to specific people. You can change that subject, include the form in the email. When you do that, that header does not show up, just so you know. So I personally like to send the link, or I will embed it on my website just because it's going to look better. So you can share via email, which then if you added all those graphics for the header, it doesn't show up, or you can get a link. So I always use that shortened URL. So you can email this directly. So you're doing a newsletter or it's in your monthly email. You can add a button that links over, you're having an event coming up, something like that. Email it, use a button, or you could embed. So this is telling you the size and height. So you can adjust those, or once you get in there, if you know enough to be able to search for that inside of your HTML, you can do that. It's all in here. So you can say what width and height. I can copy it, and then I can embed it on my website. Something else to consider, and I usually don't. I have them fill out their name and email versus collecting. And only because if they don't have Gmail, it doesn't know what to do or something. I don't know. It's to me, it's a little interesting when somebody doesn't have Gmail when I use this collect email addresses, because I don't really want it to be verified or anything like that. So I personally, in my forms, if I am collecting an email address, I am making that a required form. We're just using like a paragraph or something like that for name. So that's just something, try it with or without, see what the difference is. I have just found in the past, if somebody doesn't have a Gmail, it's not the same. Whereas if you do have Gmail and you open this up, it automatically is going to put that in there. So you won't have to worry about it. So I can embed it. But I do like using the link, trying to use a form in my newsletters or wherever I'm going to put it. But I could put it on a hidden page on my website or something like that allows somebody to fill it in right on your website. You would just go to the HTML little source, especially now we can add all that. Even before we could add HTML. So you can embed that right inside the page. Just know that means it might not be mobile responsive. So you always have to be aware of that. And that's probably why I like the button linking over to the form more than embedding, because it looks great on the desktop, not always on mobile device. And that is where most of my people are coming in from. So I can copy that, good to go, put it wherever I want. Now we have responses, and you can always view the responses straight in here. So if at any time you can come in here, I personally like to link it to Sheets. This is basically Google's Excel spreadsheet. So I can link it to Sheets. This is where it's awesome if you're doing an event every year and you don't want to have a new spreadsheet every year. Right now, this has created a new spreadsheet. It'll have the title, but I can also select an existing spreadsheet. So if I did an event last year, I'm going to say, select an existing spreadsheet, and it's going to add a new tab on a current existing spreadsheet you have inside of Drive. So that's where it's really nice and easy to stay organized and not have like a ton of different spreadsheets. It can all be on one, and you can just add year after year after year, different tabs that are on there. So I'm going to go ahead and create. And now we have a spreadsheet. What you're going to see is that I have the timestamp, so I'll know exactly when someone fills this out. And then it will have all the questions and all the answers. So if I had 6 questions, they just pretty much are all along inside of my form right here. It's not going to affect anything. I like to stay organized. So when I had these for my websites, I added plenty of sheets. So I would have a new sheet. It wouldn't affect anything coming in, but I could add as many tabs as I want. You could have, if you're doing it for an event, you could add one for, sent newsletter or more of a checklist. You could even change the checklist here. There's all sorts of fun stuff that you could do. So just know you can add as many tabs. It's not going to affect what is automatically syncing over to this spreadsheet. And here's where I absolutely love, because I want to get notified every time someone fills out this form. I want to get an email, because then I can set up a rule and it'll go into its own little folder inside my email. But you can come over here to the data tools. So come over to tools, notification settings, edit notifications. So this is where it's going to send me an email. Any changes are made, a user submits a form. Maybe the event is far away and you don't need to get a dozen emails every single day. Maybe you want just, email me a daily digest. Like if you plan on having a ton of different people, then maybe you don't need it every single time. I like to have every single form, because then everybody is labeled inside of their own little label in my email. So here I always say when a user submits a form, I want them to email me. And also you can share this. So if you have staff, if you're doing something on a team, brokerage level, I can come up here and share this document with anybody I want. So maybe I want anyone with the link is able to edit, or I can change every person I email can be on there. Once they're done with that, they can now set up their own notifications to be able to do that. So a lot of like the lead forms we may have, the different admins in the office also get the emails so they can edit all of that. So just different things you can do. It's very quiet in the comments section. I know I'm a fast talker. I get really excited. So what questions do you have? I know we recently, and I didn't open it up, but I can try to pull it up here. Just let me go into my Gmail over here. And let me go back over to Drive. Because another one that we just started doing, which, gosh, I think we started, and it was right before, I think, COVID. So that didn't end up happening. But we decided, okay, we need to come back and do this. Let me do a search, get to know. Let's see. And I want it to be forms. There we go. So this is another one we just started doing. So for our agents, admin, staff, we wanted to do a get to know your team. So it just kind of has some fun questions that we're just creating these fun little graphics that go on our website and our newsletters and stuff like that to be able to kind of get to know our team a little bit. Again, I can go to responses. I have everything in my spreadsheet, and I'll open that up because then, and this might be a little too crazy, I am a little crazy. So obviously when somebody brings this in, it automatically fills in the sheet for me. Now I go and color code because I need to know what I've done, when I've done it. So then it tells me I added my own little tabs here. Like, when was it put into the newsletter? What date, so I have everything kind of color coded of what I need to do, like my little checklist for these. But just some fun ideas on different things that you can do for Google Forms. It doesn't cost anything. It's free. As you can see, we can customize it. You can do these for so many different events, ideas, embed this, all of this fun stuff. So I don't think anybody has said that they've used Google Forms. I'm curious if you would use Google Forms, if there's anything you guys would use it for. So crazy. Well, if there's no questions, I could go on and on just Google and all this other fun stuff. I just did a blog yesterday on spreadsheets and all this fun stuff with all these new rules we have coming up. But I want you to go and try to do a form. Let's see, for an individual's agent's websites. My agents use these for a lot of times is going to be for your, like if you do client appreciation events. Let's see here. I actually even asked, okay, let's see here. I did a blog on ideas. Let me pull that up real quick because I just did this yesterday. Different ideas for innovative ways. Okay, so here's for agents. Some different ideas. ChatGPT kind of came up with stuff. Client intake form. I know my first, I was admin, Remax office. We had this crazy form that I had to fill out with every call that came in. If they were a buyer or seller, I had to fill out this crazy form of kind of like if it's a seller, information about their house so that an agent could call them back. This is a great way for like an intake form. What do you want to get from the information? It could just be gathering data if you're going to do a listing appointment, or even after you get the listing, if you want to have them fill out information, anything like that. Feedback. I know a lot of brokers will do that, send kind of like a feedback form on anything. We used to use these for open house registrations. We now have that app, which is way better. But you could do that for open house registration. We used to have the tablet and stuff. Buyer needs, seller property, like details. If you wanted to get more in depth, you could even do that, with your KV course site landing page, or after that home value. You could also send this like, hey, I know you just got a computer generated response, which does not even know your neighborhood. And it's just based off of, data from surrounding areas. But I would love to send you a full CMA. I just need a little bit more information about your house because I know your neighborhood. And then you can use the Core Present to send them a CMA. But this could be something that you set up, and then you have inside of your autoresponders and the smart campaigns, you could have anybody who fills this out, they're going to automatically receive an email that says like, hey, I know you just received this, but I'd love to give you a more in-depth analysis on your property. I just need a little bit more information to verify it with the tax records or whatever it may be. So kind of stuff like that. Event RSVPs, I'm pretty sure that's what most of our agents use it for. And those are absolutely incredible. Just all sorts of different things. We even used to use this for like our lead forms. You could actually, thinking of selling, fill out some information. We'll get you a CMA. And it basically took them to the Google form. I think we started using like BombBomb because BombBomb had that, but it's free. So you can actually get the information you want, even on the new editor that we have in KV Core, which is awesome. And that's going to be, we're doing a class on that soon. But you could, because the form, it does allow kind of name, first, last, email, and phone, but maybe you want to embed a form on one of your pages on your website or one of those lead capture pages. Maybe you wanted to have more questions so that you can send a CMA or anything like that to set them up on a search or whatever it may be. But it's another great way for lead generation. So just some different ideas on how agents could do it. Hopefully that's a little helpful because it's pretty cool. Let's see. What about using them on the website? Absolutely. What we just said. We used to do that all the time before all these websites got really, fun with all the landing pages and stuff like that. We used Google Forms because it was already available. And, now we do have all the landing pages, and not sure if you have checked out the templates inside of KV Core, but you can now edit everything inside of those landing pages to completely make them yours. And I love that we can finally go back. If I did a typo, I just go back and I can change it or change the background. It's live and I can actually edit those. Whereas before, if you made one typo, yay, we get to start all over again. Now we don't have to do that. It's pretty awesome. Let's see. You wouldn't save a form for each individual, because what will happen is you have this form that somebody fills out and you're going to have all the responses inside of your spreadsheet. So you could have a button inside of your newsletter. You could have this displayed anywhere. They're just going to see the form. So you wouldn't send it to one, you could send it maybe after closing. Maybe you want to be able to collect reviews in this way and syndicate it out, but it's just going to allow you to have this form that you could use that link or embed to your website and draw people there, but it's not going to be used once. This form would be something you plan on collecting information, data, surveys, something like that, feedback, anything like that. So it would be used multiple times, not just for one person. Awesome. Yes. Hopefully that gives some good ideas. And let's see. If you had a form on KV Core website together. Basically, when you are doing, not necessarily, you would not be able to, if you're embedding one of these forms, obviously you're getting that data. It's not going into the system. So that's why using their simple form is nice, because then you can add the hashtag, and then that's going to prompt whatever smart campaign you have dedicated for that, or buyer, seller, whatever it may be. When it's getting collected through Google, I'm wondering if you could set something up and where it can sync that and automatically pull over. I bet you there is one of those in that syndication for the leads. Can't think of the name off the top of my head. But for honestly, when you have the form, it's coming to you. It's not like inside of KV Core on their lead forms. You're putting in there when you're going to select a form, what hashtag, are they a buyer, seller, agent, vendor, whatever they are. Because when you put in that hashtag, that's what's going to trigger a different smart campaign if you have one specific for whatever this lead form is. So that's where it'll be a little different. You would have to have like a third-party company kind of be able to sync from this form. So it's kind of like the if this, then that. So when a user submits the form, you have access to this spreadsheet, and then this happens. It goes into KV Core under this hashtag. But that would be a whole third-party thing. So it's not going to be as nice as when you use those forms right inside of your KV Core that we can fully set up now on every page using that new editor. And that's going to be able to trigger those campaigns much better. But if you wanted to go into your smart campaigns and you have a landing page maybe for seller or instant home value, anything like that, you can say, okay, so this landing page has this hashtag, which is going to trigger this smart campaign. And you have a smart campaign with an email that has this form in it. It's a little more advanced, but good news is next month's class is all on the smart campaign. So we are going to be covering all of the different automations that automatically happen, as well as the smart campaigns and how we can edit those different ones. And that's where we could even mention being able to edit one of these to, one of these pages and linking over for the email. So hopefully that helps a little bit. But let's see here. Anything else? Website to this? I think I got all the questions. But definitely go in there and play. And for sure, if you do a Google form, I would love for you to share it in the groups, share it on YouTube, wherever you're watching this. I would love to be able to see what you've done. It's going to inspire us all, especially on the agent level, because I think I do most of this on my own personal level as well as on a business level. But there's lots of great things that we can do. And I want to see what you guys do for any of these. And of course, if you have any questions, wherever you see this video, put it in the comment, tag me, and I will be happy to answer any questions, because I can always build on if you guys want to learn more about all of this fun stuff. So I think that's all I have. And it's good. I'm trying to keep these to about 30 minutes because I know you guys are all very busy right now, and it's kind of crazy town right now. So all good. But if you have any questions, let me know, and I want to see what you guys do. But until next month, I will chat with you guys soon. Bye, everyone.